I think with any approach or method, what you start to realize is that a method is all about which questions you're asking. And so the discourse analysis question is, how does this unit of text that I'm looking at right here, this clause or even this whole paragraph, how does it relate to what went before? So you can ask that at a clause to clause level and say, and really, if you think about it, we're all doing discourse analysis informally all the time. Anytime you're listening to
Yeah, your
anybody,
brain
anytime you're
is
reading
doing it.
any book,
Hmm.
you're doing discourse analysis without really knowing that's what you're doing because you're reflecting on what the person is saying and how one thing relates to the next. So if I'm saying, because of this and because of that, therefore this, that those first two things I said are the basis for the conclusion that I ended with. And that conclusion is marked with the word therefore. And so you've done discourse analysis to understand how those things relate together. So really all discourse analysis is doing is saying, how does the language of this text show me what the relationship is between the line I'm looking at and all the lines that went before it, and also the ones that are going to come after as well. So you're from that, the result of that work, of patiently asking that question of every single clause will be um, an overarching sense of the message of the text. I remember once one of my friends did discourse analysis on the book of Romans, Paul's letter to the Romans, and he did it, just line by line by line. But then he continued to move outwards to, okay, now that I understand how the lines of this paragraph relate to each other, I kind of get the main point of the paragraph. Now, how does this paragraph relate to the next paragraph? And then he kept on going out until he had, basically Romans 1 through 11 as one huge unit, Romans 12 through 16 as second huge unit, all connected with that important verse, Romans 12:1. Therefore, brothers, in light of the mercies of God, and then he
Right.
moves to the indicative, I mean, the imperative rather. I urge
Hmm.
you to offer your bodies as living sacrifice. Like that, in saying that, realizing, okay, the indicative of Romans 1 through 11 grounds the imperative of Romans 12 through 16. You've now done discourse analysis all the way to the highest level you can do
Unless I guess
on
you
that
do it
book.
canonically, and some people have
Yeah, I
attempted
guess you
that too.
could. Yeah. Yeah, in some cases you have to, because like Leviticus 1:1 begins with a continuative form, a viactal form, which implies that we have a continuation of the narrative that ended at the end of Exodus. So yeah, there's definitely discourse analysis within, between books even.